Yo, what's up guys? The name is Rileyy Music, and I'm back from watching the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Let me tell you, that was a FNAF fan's dream of a film. Like, man, so many like sort of Easter eggs and stuff that die-hard fans will absolutely get. Like, if you're a fan from 2014 onward, there's so many Easter eggs you're gonna love. So, obviously, because we're going to be talking about the film, I thought I'd decorate my setup a bit. I've got all my FNAF plushies so far. I couldn't get Chica. She was out of stock when I tried to get her. But luckily, I was able to buy Bonnie and Foxy. And then, obviously, in the tight corner here, we got U2's William Afton, purple guy. And yeah. Oh, and also what you got here? The cloak blanket for the bite. So as soon as I could, I pre-ordered the tickets because Hoyt usually gives me like an email like a week before the movie actually premieres, so I can pre-order it. Did not happen this time, so I actually had to go to the website, look and see the screenings, and the earliest one was 10:30 a.m. On a Thursday. So that's exactly what I did. Woke up early, headed down to my local Hoyt's, and then watched the film. Man, the people I was with, just like sitting around there, as they were like walking in, they were talking about how they just caught up on the lore, or they reread the lore, like either they read the books or stuff. Behind me, right at the back, because I was like centered sort of in the middle of the cinema, I just kept hearing Freddy's laughter or something, because when I got in the theater about like 10 a.m. or something, so the cinema lights were still off, so everyone was just having fun like playing the classic like FNAF SFX while they were just in the dark waiting for the cinema lights to turn on. And yeah, it was honestly really cool. I'm glad. Obviously, it's an Australian cinema. We do not react much. We're basically a British cinema, but we did get some sort of gasps and claps, and didn't really get much laughter because there was no Marvel. There was no like Marvel type jokes, so I don't think anyone was gonna laugh. So what we're gonna do for this video is I'm gonna try and do a spoiler part of this video. I do not know how long this is gonna be. This is probably gonna be a big one, maybe like 40 minutes. I don't know. I'm gonna go through everything that I can remember. But first, we're gonna do like a small section of non-spoiler, my general thoughts of the film and stuff, and then the next section, which let's put a timer up there for when the spoiler section will start, and that'll be me recounting every step of the film that I can remember from the top of my head. So yeah, let's jump right into it. My general thoughts of the film is that I had a really fun time. Like, I had a really good time watching the film, like for its characters and its plot line. It's a very straightforward sort of plot line. Like, we've got our characters. If you know them, obviously if you're a FNAF fan, you'll know all the characters, and that's what the film is expecting of you, to know these cast of characters, even though they may diverge in certain ways. But because we're FNAF fans, like, we're taking theories and excerpts from the books and stuff, so we can take characters' names and put them onto other people to work out our story. For general audiences, I think it does a good job sort of encapsulating quite a lot of the Five Nights at Freddy's like plot. I feel like this film will make people fans of the series. Honestly, I feel like this film will walk away with more fans than it started with, because it was just a lot of fun. The animatronics were amazing, their movements and everything. The sound design was just so cool. Like, every time the animatronics moved, there was this huge weight to them. You could feel, and like the camera wouldn't shake or anything, but just the sounds of like the inner mechanisms of the animatronics and the weight as they step forward and lurch, and it's slow moving. It's really cool. In terms of the human actors. Mike, I really enjoyed Josh Hutcherson's, I hope that's how you say his name, his performance. I really did like it. The way he depicted Mike's character, obviously we barely know anything about Mike from either the books or the games, but the way Mike's character was written in this film, Josh did a really great job personifying this man that is trying to look after his family while also really having trouble with his work ethic. And it's a character that is trying their hardest to keep a sort of stable lifestyle, but is failing because of something lingering in his past. And Josh is conveying it with just simple character acting, in a sense. When he doesn't speak, his face speaks for him, basically. I really like his performance. Then we have Abby, which I do not know the child actor's name for Abby. She was really energetic. She was charming. When she was interacting with the animatronics, there was just such a playful nature to her. Like you could definitely see she was breathing like her own joy into the character, basically, of just interacting with the animatronics and the setting of the pizzeria. Vanessa was really good, honestly. She has a lot of talks with Mike and is pretty down to earth, but keeps her authority because she is a police officer. Certain parts where her character diverges from this sense of authority without giving away anything, and it's really interesting. Mike and Vanessa really bounce off each other quite well as when Abby interacts with the whole gang and everything. And of course, Matthew Lillard, aka Steve Raglan. Yeah, Steve Raglan. Matthew Lillard's performance was really interesting. When he's on screen, he's got this welcoming personality. He keeps you on your toes when he's on the screen. In his scenes, he is also quite powerful. Without giving without giving away too much. It's alluring, powerful, and almost giddy in nature. If we think back to like his performance in Scream, he doesn't go to that level of insane because he is in control of the situation that happens in the film. He's powerful, he's giddy, but he's also alluring and charming in a sense. He lowers your defenses in a lot of the parts that he's in. The side characters, like the people that we see, like destroying the pizzeria, the people that basically get offed in the trailers. Like I don't know what to tell you. That is what happens. Yeah, they play their part quite well. One of the characters is actually a bit more prominent than I think any of us would have thought, and it's interesting how that character comes into play later on in the actual film. That's pretty much where that character, like, obviously that's where the character ends. There was this interesting dynamic between characters at the start of the film and with this character in particular who is also like the robbers, like the vandalizers. That's a better word, vandalizers. Obviously the set design was masterfully crafted, like all the set shots, and like Mike walking through the pizzeria itself. It's all interchanged and connected. Like, I'm pretty sure most of us would have seen like Rezbowski's, Baz's, 8-Bit Ryan, and Dorco's behind the scenes set like tour. And it's really cool because you get a real sense of the set throughout the film. Every time I think about it, I think back to the kitchen scene mainly. Again, shown in the trailer, Chica and the cupcake. God, that kitchen is just a nightmare. There's dishes and pots everywhere, and it's like, I really enjoyed my time. I really did enjoy Mike as a character. I enjoyed all the characters, really. The story, I would say, I do love the idea of, and they execute it well. They do execute it well. Sometimes it gets messy. There's a lot of unexplained circumstances as well as things that happen in the film, and I mean, that's to be expected. One, it's a film, and you've got a set amount of time, so you can't really dive into anything. That's when you get the books. That's when you get the I think they're actually doing a novel for the movie, so that's probably where some of that stuff's going to be answered. Two, it's a FNAF property. Of course there's going to be secrets. Of course there's going to be unexplained things. We just found out about FNAF 4 and like the gas tanks, and that's how the nightmare animatronics come to be. This is what the franchise is. Like it's crazy. It's a roller coaster, and it will always be a roller coaster. Because of that, I really enjoyed my time. There was if you're a FNAF fan, you'll see a lot of the like twists and turns that this film takes. My favorite part would honestly be some of the dream sequences. There's one part in the dream sequence that absolutely got like an actual jolt out of me. I thought, like, I'm a bitch when it comes to horror films and horror games. Like I screamed. I'll still get jump scared by zombies in like Black Ops 1 or Black Ops 2. I'll still get, like, if one comes up behind me and I turn around and it's there, I'll jump. The way I would say this horror film works, it really works with its PG rating. I believe it's M in Australia and PG in America. I'll double check that. But yeah, it really does suit this what do you call it? This rating. The best way I could describe the horror / scariness of the film is definitely taking a book out of Monster House. And I think I said that actually in my trailer reaction, that I thought it might be that sort of tension and that sort of similar thing. I actually might have called that. Wow. There's one part, which of course there is, like, Disney gets away with this shit in G-rated films, where there's one of the kills and you think it's going to cut away, and it sort of does, but you still get all of the kill in view. Like, if there's one thing that's going to like make parents go, ooh, this may be not for my child, it's that. One of the kills and another scene that happens within the film. All right, I think that's a good enough amount of non-spoilery stuff. I really enjoyed the film. I really did. And I'm going to be watching it with my friends over the weekend via Peacock. And probably going back into the cinema to watch it a second time. I really did enjoy myself, and I'm more than happy to see it again, honestly. Yeah, the more I think about different scenes in the film and my overall enjoyment, I really did enjoy it. With that all being said, we will now move on to the spoiler stuff. This is me recounting the events of the entire film from memory, and then we'll cut it quits, okay? So, this will be where the spoiler part starts, so we'll give you like 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! Right. Cool. So, where does Five Nights at Freddy's, the motion picture, how does it begin? Well, the way the film starts off is actually with another night security guard. I thought it would start with the vandalizers. No, I as soon as the film started, I was already smacked in the face with like, oh no, okay, so night security guard is the first kill of the film. We don't get a name or anything. It might be a cameo. I'm not sure. At the start, I thought it might have been Scott, because that would have been insane. Imagine he was the first kill in his own film. Night security guard. We see him just freaking out, like he's barricaded the door, and it's not like the FNAF game. There's no 2 metal doors. You see that from the trailer. There's just the one door, which thank God, but it's not a metal door. So it's just a normal door that any animatronic and anyone could open. So this guy is freaking out. I think there's like some static or some sounds playing over the like the interface like speaker system, and then we see him just like trying to unscrew the vent. So the first scene is him just sort of like trying to get away from whatever is attacking him. I think it probably is Foxy, or actually not too sure who the first person, who the first animatronic is that tries to kill the night guard. But yeah, so he unscrews the vent like latch opening thing, crawls through the vents. He winds up, I believe, in the storage room. Yeah, it's when Bonnie's like looking up right at you in the game. He gets out of there, and then he makes like a slight sound, like he kicks something, and then it's off to the races with Foxy just charging down the hallway at him. Like, this guy has had no breaks this night. So his hands were bloody and everything. Not like crazy bloody, but like his fingernails and fingertips were like bloody, and like it looked like he'd been wounded. Nothing else on his character seemed to indicate that, but just his fingers, which was interesting. Foxy does his for some reason that didn't click with me at the start. I thought like before I saw the film, I thought that was Freddy always doing the dum. No, it's Foxy. Foxy is doing the dum, and then he charges at the night guard. So we think Foxy has killed the night guard. It actually cuts to him waking up in the torture chair that we see in the trailer with like it's like a Freddy mask, or like a spinning blade like twisting thing, and that's coming towards the night guard, and he's freaking out because he's trapped in this torture device, and he's like trying to unscrew one of the like a bolt on the right side of his chair, and he can't do it in time, so all you hear is like the screams of his agony, and that's the end of him. And then it cuts to the title sequence. So the title sequence is really cool. As soon as it started, I was like, oh man, all right, this is sick. The title sequence is like based on the either FNAF 3 or FNAF 4 minigames, because it retells William Afton in his golden bunny suit, taking away the kids and luring them into the back to kill them. It does not show them being killed, but it shows William putting on the suit, taking the kids one by one, and the kids are now in their like movie costumes, like specifically for the movie. So the 8-bit, 16-bit designs reflect what the actual costumes are in the film, which was cool. And I was trying to remember what sort of music was playing. I think it was just some sort of like soundtrack in the like an original OST. It wasn't the march or anything, but it was just this sort of sequence of all this FNAF 4 like minigame sort of styled introduction to this world, which was interesting. So if you were a new viewer, then what you're getting is something's attacking this night guard. First off, it's this fox thing. Second, you're seeing this 16-bit intro sequence of this rabbit, this golden rabbit, taking kids, luring them away, and then the kids disappear. And then immediately after that whole sequence, I believe it either cuts to Mike waking up, or it's one of Mike's dreams. It's like 6 a.m. so that's when he wakes up to get ready for his original job of the film. He tries to get Abby to get ready so he can go to work and he can drop her off at like kindergarten or primary school. It looked like primary school. You obviously immediately see that there's this disconnect and like sort of lack of trust and interest with both characters. Mike just wants to do the right thing and get to his job. Buddy's being a bit more demanding with Abby, and Abby's just not giving him an inch. It just doesn't want to do what he wants to do. You can see the starting dynamic of the brother and sister. There's contention, but they do like love each other, obviously, because Mike's caring for her. Pretty much straight after that, Mike goes to his original job, and his original job is security, right? But he's a security at this mall. Due to his trauma of witnessing his brother being kidnapped, he sees this child all alone, looking like sort of distressed, not knowing where he is. And then you see this man come up, grab him by the arm, and sort of drag and like sort of like yell at him, like dragging him away. That sets Mike right the fuck off, because he starts bolting after him, and without like warning or anything, looks at the man dragging the child, punches him in the face into the fountain, and then Mike jumps in after him, starts beating the shit out of this man. And then you get this like bird's eye view of this situation, and he's just wailing into the man. You see everyone like sort of like being shocked and everything, and then you see one of the security guards he was talking about, he was talking with a bit earlier, try and get him off. Before that happens, Mike sort of gives us a big point of the film, and that's Mike believes in dream theory. So dream theory is where it's the idea that you never really lose your memories. Like if you have witnessed it, you have perceived a certain event happening, it is definitely somewhere in your mind. And Mike has been taking sleeping pills to go back to this memory of his brother being kidnapped, trying to find who actually kidnapped him. So he's trying to be a detective about it, but obviously because he's taking these sleeping pills, he's getting up late, he's drowsy, he's not emotional, he's very drained. And that's what I like about Josh's performance. I feel he's very drained. There's a lot going on in his life. So he's talking about the dream theory, seeing if he can figure out who kidnapped his brother, and like he's showing his friend his book that he's reading about dream theory. Well, his friend, his co-worker, his co-security guard officer, the one that tries to pull him off the person. Then we hard cut to Mike just sitting in this office, which is the job counselor's waiting room, and he is out of it. Like you see him like tapping his foot on the ground, you see him staring off into the distance, you can hear the muffled voices of someone calling his number, and then he finally reacts to it, goes in, and we immediately are greeted with Matthew Lillard. Is immediately greeted by him, and he's looking over the file, and he's going, oh, so like what's the situation? You caused a ruckus again. You have been known for lack of conduct, I think he said, and not responding to orders in his previous work, which was either another security guard position or something earlier in his life. After that, he it's such a giveaway to the audience and FNAF fans, because he's looking through his file and he sees his name. He's like, oh, so you're Mike Schmidt. And then he stops. He just stops. He dead like just stops, and he goes, oh, I see you've been trying to keep yourself busy. It's like, fucking just smack us in the face, why don't you? It's like, we know his name is Mike Schmidt. Like this, and then it nods to like, oh, so you know who he is. Congratulations, Steve. You haven't given away yourself as anyone other than a good person trying to do their job counseling job. Of course not. Why would you see the last name of someone you killed and kidnapped and you went, I have a job position for you? That's pretty much what he does. He sees that his name is Schmidt and goes, no, I got a job for you. You could try security guard. It doesn't pay well. You'll get no benefits, and the hours are even worse. And Mike responds to that with, he does not do night shifts. And that was pretty much the end of that conversation. And so Steve gives Mike his business card and tells him, like, call me if you ever want the job. Then get, like, the scene of the car driving down the street, and then it's back to Mike talking, like coming back home, and he sees this notice for I think it's misconduct. You haven't paid rent, or like you are seen as a violent person, therefore you get this slip. It's something on the lines of that. So he goes back home, talks with Abby. Yeah, Max, the babysitter, like takes care of Abby and all that, and he promises Max that one day she will get paid. That happens in a later scene. Sorry, I'm going here, there, and everywhere, but I'm trying to keep it relatively in the same area of focus. He tries to get her to go to dinner, and it sort of becomes a little bit forceful because he's trying to stop her from drawing, and he breaks a crayon, and that's just not okay for with Abby. So Mike's like, all right, I don't care. I've had a bad day at work and stuff like that because I've been fired. I don't need this from you right now. You do see Mike's parents, and you see Mike when he's younger and he's hanging out with his family, and his brother, who's named Garrett. They're just like having a camp out in the woods and everything. Mike's like distracted and picks up this he picks up a yellow frisbee, which is interesting. And then his mom basically told him to look after his brother, and as soon as he like picks up the frisbee and starts like looking at it and gets distracted, his brother is immediately seen being taken away by William Afton. Like it's interesting. In the film, you never see that scene from the front. You never see this shadowy figure that's driving and kidnapping his brother. You never see his face. You can assume it's William Afton because it's fucking William Afton. So you never actually see the figure who's driving the car. You just get like context clues, and they eventually just straight up say, "Oh, it's the yellow rabbit." And Mike's like, "What the fuck? What do you mean yellow rabbit? There's no in my dream, there's no yellow rabbit driving a car." Imagine if that was Mike's dream. If they went crazy, like lucid, and with the effects, it's just fucking William Afton in his bunny suit driving a car and stealing his kid. God, it's a horrific thought, but it's a funny as fuck image. So that dream sequence happens, then Mike wakes up, and then I'm pretty sure it cuts to the next day, where we are introduced to the auntie character, and it's the most comical, evil auntie character you can think of, like the fucking evil stepmother from like Cinderella and stuff, but it's the auntie, and I can relate to that. Anyway, she's a comically evil character, and she wants custody over Abby because she sees Mike as unfit to look after his sister and stuff like that. But in the end, she only wants the monthly pay check that Mike receives to look after her. So that's how he's been getting by, other than like finding different forms of work and stuff. They're at like a student council thing. They're not talking at like a lawyer place or anything. They're talking at the primary school where Abby is, and talking to her teacher, and it's really great because the teacher's immediately siding with Mike because she knows that the auntie does not care for Abby whatsoever. She just wants the monthly pay. And in between both of them, there's the auntie's lawyer, and he's like holding the briefcase, and he's just like trying not to be awkward, but he's got this great face. He's got a great like emotions, and he's like freaked out, but at the same time trying to keep professional because the auntie's a psychopath, just like yelling at him basically and like talking over him and stuff, and does not care for his opinion on the matter. It cuts to Mike and the teacher talking, and the teacher's like, "Well, obviously you're fit for like looking after her," and she's like, "Oh, have you found a job, or do you have a job?" And it's like, "No." It's like, "Well," and then Mike's like, "All right, so Abby must like hate me because I can't look after her," and stuff like that. The auntie thinks Abby's mentally ill because she's drawing all these pictures. It's like, it's a kid. Kids draw pictures. Like, what? You're a psycho and I hate you. Auntie, the actor for the auntie is great. Like, acts as this comically evil villain is quite great. I love how she's like a sort of powerful force in the film, who wants to get her way and is sort of like the side antagonist of the film. Mike and teacher are talking about that, and the teacher talks about how, well, humans drawing is like one of the first things we ever learn to do. That's how we learn to communicate, and how we can like tell stories, and what we really feel is through drawings. And that's a big plot point, like later on. Like, I did not see it coming back. I was like, oh, that's a nice, like, that's a nice thought. Like, drawings are quite powerful because they hold memories and they hold what you really feel. That is a massive plot point towards the end of the film. Like, goddamn, I did. It was like, huh. Yeah, I guess you're right. That did happen. The teacher's like, so who's at the center of all her drawings? Have you noticed? And it's Mike. So Mike to Abby is her whole world. So she does love and care for him just as much as Mike does for Abby. So that sort of gets us to Mike applying for the security job at the pizzeria. He calls back Steve. He's just like, oh, Mr. I don't do night shifts. It just fucking beating a shit about it. Then he starts to talk about the pizzeria and how it was closed. It was huge in the 80s, and how it's like nostalgic and everything, and like, maybe it hasn't been demolished because the owner has a soft spot. Wink, wink. Smack the audience member. You paying attention? Oh shit, sorry. So Mike goes to his first night at Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. As soon as he goes to the pizzeria, he goes straight to the security office to get his job started. I believe, I can't remember the sequence of this happening, but I believe he starts sitting down, watching the cameras and everything, and then he like looks to behind him. There's a TV with a videotape that says just Mike, and he's like, what the hell? Puts that in, and that's the security protocol rule videotape, and it's the lady talking about how it was like it's where fantasy and fun come to life, and every time that she tries to introduce the animatronics, the video glitches and freaks out, and Mike just nonchalantly just taps the TV. He's like, that'll do it. Starts fixing it, but eventually the video cuts out after it shows the animatronics, but not in clear view. Mike still has not seen the animatronics whatsoever. Then he looks in the locker, and we are greeted by our first big jump scare that made me jump in my seat, because I was not expecting anything in the locker, because what we're thinking is like, oh, okay, it's the security jumper and like security vest, and that's what it was. But first we have a full face frontal image of this tiny shit balloon boy toy that scared the shit out of me, and as soon I got scared, and then when I realized it was Balloon Boy, there was this just anger. Just, god fucking damn it. Of course, how did Balloon Boy make it into a FNAF 1 film and manage to jump scare me that hard? It was a mixture of joy, anger, because god damn it, Balloon Boy, of course it was fucking you. Why wouldn't it be you? Mike then just goes to look around the pizzeria. I believe he hears a noise. He goes up to the main stage. I don't think he sees Foxy yet. Or he maybe looks at Foxy first, and then he like peeks through the curtains of the main stage. Then you see like the slow close-ups of Bonnie, Chica, and then Freddy. And then there's like this whole like sort of... There's a lingering moment between him staring at Freddy. That's where the tension sort of like dies down a bit. Because we see the animatronics, and he's like, that's weird. Why was that making noise? He just goes back to his security desk, and he takes his sleeping pills, and then he puts on his headphones and he listens to nature sounds, and he thinks back to where he where we assume he used to live, because that's where his brother was taken, and that's Nebraska. He gets this dream. It's like the same sort of dream that we see at the start of the film. When his brother gets kidnapped, the dream still continues, and then you hear a twig snap, and you turn around and it's the kids. It's Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy. He's like, why the hell are you here? Like, who are you kids and everything? Then he like gets angry, starts chasing one of them. He trips and falls and hits his head in the dream, and he's like collapsed on the floor of the security office, and that wakes him up, as well as he's got his alarm for 6 a.m. and he's done. That was his first night on the job. Goes home, talks to Max, says, eventually I'll pay you, and she's like, yeah, no worries. He grabs his poster from so he has a poster of Nebraska on the top of his ceiling, so that's what he can look at when he's falling asleep, trying to get into his his lucid dream. He tries to rip that off the bed, so he can then bring that to the security office at the pizzeria. So there's a whole separate scene. The Mike and Abby like go have just a normal day to themselves. Either Mike goes to sleep or something. And then we cut to this diner, and it's the auntie and the lawyer talking to these two characters, and one of them's Max. And you're like, oh, that's interesting. Why is Max there? And they're talking about how to get rid of Mike, like in pretty devious ways. But before that, at Hoyt's, we have like sort of reclined chairs that we can sit and watch the film. Like, you press a button and the chair goes back. I sat up as soon as I heard his voice and saw his face. Matt Pat is in the fucking film, and it's such a good cameo, because they're in a diner, and Matt Pat's just obviously ordering, asking like what do they want to order, and like the auntie's just like trying to shoo him away. He's like, that's no fun. Don't you know about like eating healthy or something like that, or like if you have this treat? And then he's like, but that's just a theory, and immediately gets cut off by the auntie telling him just to leave, to go away. And it was so great. Not only he shows up, he drops his catchphrase, that's just a theory. But like it's such a a clean, like, if you don't know who he is, then it's just, oh, what a weird waiter, just this happy-go-lucky sort of waiter that comes over. Then it gets a bit more sinister, because the auntie's talking about like the ways to get rid of Mike, and it's either by like hindering his job, or like finding out dirt on him, or just the guy she's talking to, one of the vandalizers, straight up offers to kill Mike. And the lawyer's sitting there, and he's like, I really shouldn't be hearing this. This is, and the aunt's like, don't worry about it. Just shut up. Just shut up. Sit there. You're my lawyer. I pay you. Just shut up. You're listening to my crime, my mob boss mentality of getting these vandalizers to come in. Max isn't opposed to this either, which is interesting. So Max is actually like a trader, like an inside job, looking after Abby, but also trying to get dirt on Mike, trying to see like what does he do wrong. And she offers that he just sleeps a lot and is like a bit moody, and that's it. And she's like, well, that's fucking useless. the aunt's pretty great in the film. He's like, well, that's fucking nothing. There's some sort of like talk about how, well, if he loses his job, then he can't look after the Abby anymore. Like there's no way he can afford that and stuff like that. So the vandalizer comes up with an idea to trash the pizzeria, which is what we see in the trailer, in order to get Mike fired from his job. He says that he'll do it for $2,000, and then the aunt's like 1,000, and that's it. 1,000? Not each. Not each. I'm pretty sure they did not clarify whether they would be paid each or $1,000 in total. But that's 4 people going to vandalize this abandoned pizzeria for $1,000. That's it. There was no 10K or anything on the line because the aunt's also broke. And that's why she wants the money. So it's so weird. After that, Mike has his second night on the job. And pretty sure he just like looks around, does his usual security stuff. He puts the poster of Nebraska behind his security system and everything. Then he takes sleeping pills, goes to sleep, puts his earphones on. During every time he sleeps, there's static and stuff coming from the intercoms of the pizzeria. He can't hear that whatsoever because he's got his nature sounds on. So he goes back to sleep. He sees the kids again, and he's like, do you know who took my brother and stuff like that? I don't think they give him any sort of context clues. He chases after Foxy's, the kid that is in Foxy. It's a cool sequence because he chases after him. He gets close to him, and then the kid with the hook slashes at his arm, right? And then as soon as he slashes at his arm, Mike freaks out, and then you pan up to the kid, and he's got black tears, like black oil tears, like dripping from his eyes. And he's got like black eyes and everything, very much like the ghosts, like sprites in the FNAF 3 minigames, which is really sick to see. Obviously, that wakes Mike right the fuck up. The lights, I'm pretty sure, like flickering on and off, like in the whole, like music starts playing, like he's awake now. So he switches the breaker on and off, and that's what he was told to do if like power gets weird or anything. He's immediately greeted by like a ring at the doorbell, and that's Vanessa. This is where we're introduced to Vanessa. So we're introduced to Vanessa on the second night, and she's just going through her usual route of taking care of the place, and Mike is completely out of it. Just woke up and everything, so he's got bloodshot eyes, and he's like pretty timid and everything. He's just what do you want, officer? just completely out of it. And I don't know, I felt that was kind of amusing. Like, he's not even trying to hide that. It's just like, what the some weird happened just then. And Vanessa points out that Mike's arm, where he got scratched in the dream, is actually there's a deep gash in his arm where Foxy Kid striked him. That's really interesting. So that either implies that Foxy's animatronic came in to the security room, slashed him, then booked it right the fuck out as soon as he woke up. Either that, or like in the dream you can get hurt. So he talks to Vanessa. Vanessa gives him the rundown of the whole pizzaplex, and he's like, "Wow." She's like, "Wow, you really don't know anything about this place, do you? You're probably gonna quit soon because no night guard lasts here long." He's just like, "Well, I need the job, so no, I'll keep doing it." And she's like getting all giddy, talking about the animatronics. She presses showtime. You see the first sort of song the animatronics do. Foxy sort of just waves his arms and goes har 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 har, like doesn't make any noise, just does that, and that's him performing, which I love. Meanwhile, you got like Bonnie playing the guitar, you got Freddy just singing, going up and down and twisting around. Then you got Chica that's sort of just holding the cupcake and going, yeah. It's pretty great how accurate / stiff that their movements are just while performing. When the showtime happens, power sort of short circuits, and she's like, "Well, it's an old place," and stuff like that. And Vanessa's like, "That was like the coolest thing you've ever seen, right?" And Mike's like, he doesn't give her an answer, and he's like, "So what about these missing kids?" And she's like, "Well, you don't know about the missing kids. It happened in, I think they said, 87. I think she talked about it being 87 is when the kids were kidnapped. There was a whole search party and everything. No one could find them, beat for beat, like the plot of the games. Then after that, she pretty much takes her leave, with Mike left to his own devices. I'm pretty sure she stays with him until like the end of his shift, if I recall, and then they just go home. And Mike left. This is something that was either indicated or like not indicated. It was just shown later on, but he leaves his sleeping pills there. He gets accused later. So yeah, so Mike goes home. The vandalizers are sitting there and wait, and this is when like most, if not all, of the trailer scenes happen, where the vandalizers come in, trash the place, and the first one to go is I think his name was Carl, and he's the one in the kitchen that dies via Chica, which you think he would die via Chica. No. So this is one of the big surprises of the film, and this was one of the big usage of CGI. Cupcake is like the nightmare Cupcake from FNAF 4. Opens his mouth, you see like nightmare style teeth, and he fucking lunges at the camera / Carl, and is actually jumping on his face. Actually, like you see like the teeth, jumps at Carl, like biting on his face. Definitely insta dead. The struggles a bit, but there's a great shot before that where it's Carl trashing the kitchen. You see a large fan sort of swirling, and the camera shot is mainly focusing on Carl, but you can see Chica slowly moving in the background, passing the fan. It's really cool. I really like that shot a lot. But yeah, so that's the end of Carl. I can't remember what his name was. Hugh or Hugo, or I think it starts with H. Long-haired guy. Long-haired, long-beard guy. Very, very biker aesthetic. He sees that happen from the counter of the kitchen. And Chica turns towards him and does the squinty eyes. He freaks the fuck out. He's like, nah, I'm out of here. Starts to run away. You see the main guy, again, don't know his name. He had like a leather jacket or something, and he was the one that came up with the idea to vandalize the place next to Max and talking to the auntie in the diner scene. He's in the security office, and he's like, he hears the screams, and he's like, well, what's going on? He looks at the security cameras, and he sees the biker dude run into the cleaning closet. Obviously, that scene plays out. Bonnie's there. He sees all the screams and everything. Leather jacket guy goes and runs to check up on him. You see the door slowly creak open, and then it's just Bonnie. And this is where the sound effects come in, like the big lumbering dum, dum, dum. And then just the turning of the head, slowly tilting up of the head, squinting of the eyes, looking at the guy. And then he's like, nah, fuck this. He runs back to the security office, and then he's looking at the cameras again, and this is where you see Bonnie and Chica next to the opening of the vent. And it's really cool. So you see in full Chica's animatronic holding the cupcake, leaning down and forward to like raise her arm down towards the vent, and you see him chuck the cupcake in, and then the guy's like, what the he's like, what the fuck, this is fucked. You see that it's the vent shaft that the night guard from the start of the film went through. So he's holding the vent grate, and the cupcake is just gnashing at it, just gnashing and gnawing and like biting at it. You see sparks, and that's like where the main CGI comes in. Just a lot of CGI is used for the cupcake just biting and everything. And he's holding it back, and he's like screaming. He's like, what the? He's like, ah. And then eventually it stops, and then he starts to walk out of the security office. The next thing you hear is dum-dum-dum-dum-dum, and of course it's fucking Foxy. He's gearing up to like chase him down the hallway. He makes it to the exit, and the exit's not opening, and that's the end of him. So all three of them die. So Carl, I think his name is, the one who wears the Midnight Racer shirt. Then you got biker guy, long hair, big beard. He dies to Bonnie. And then you've got the leather jacket guy who came up with the plan to vandalize the place. He dies to Foxy. It then cuts to Max who we thought was a good, like a good person, but she's got her own motives and everything. She's got her own thing going on. So she then tries to see, like, why is it taking so long? And she's greeted by, just like in the trailer, the ghost of Freddy. So gets lured in. You see the hand come out of the mouth scene. I thought she was just gonna have, like, the kid was just gonna grab her face or something, maybe get Freddy like full on her or something. No. Oh my god, she gets dragged in, half her whole body. This is an adult lady, gets her whole body sort of dragged halfway into the animatronic Freddy's mouth, and it clamps shut, just like the bite of 87, or the bite of 83 technically. And you see the lower half of her body, her legs, like collapse on the ground. That is the end of the scene. Just, you see the shadow of it happen, and it's just an immediate snap, and that's it. You see the shadow of it clamping down. Bite of 83 immediately referenced, like, wink wink, slap in the face, FNAF fans, look how cool that was. Then it cuts to Mike back at his home. I think he's like talking with Abby. Vanessa gave him a security badge, literally one of these, and puts it on Mike for just like, hey, this is your security badge. When I saw that this was actually this is movie accurate. This is actually movie accurate because this is what Vanessa gives him. I was like, hell yeah, that's so sick. Like, the fact that this is gonna be sold way more now. Like, this is just a money maker now because it's basically in the film. He's like, hey, Abby, I got this cool little thing for you. Tries to give it to him, gets ignored, and he's like, man, fuck these kids. You know what? That's okay, Abby. We don't have to talk or anything. And then she gets interested after he walks away. Tries to find this badge in the drawer. And it's the same drawer that has the paperwork for Mike relinquishing ownership, caretaker responsibilities for Abby to the psychopath auntie. Abby's like, why would you do this to me? Are you actually gonna give me away? And they're interrupted by Vanessa knocking at the door, confronting Mike about there was a break-in, the vandalizers happened, and she found sleeping pills at the scene, at the security office. And he's like, well, it's not what you think it is, it's sleeping pills. And she's like, yeah, I know, I can read the bottle that says sleeping pills on it. I'm not an idiot. I just want to know why you have sleeping pills. And why aren't you doing your job properly? And that's like what she's like mainly most angry at. Mike and Vanessa just go and have a talk of like, well, why the hell are you having sleeping pills? Why aren't you like doing your job properly? And he's like, well, you had a dream theory. So they explained that again, sort of the lucidness of the dreams. Oh, like how these kids are appearing now, like the Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy. Just they're appearing in my dreams now, and it's weird because this is like, it's never happened before. My dreams have never escalated. They've always been like the same vivid dream, but now there's these kids in here. They just have this discussion, and then she throws his sleeping pills into the wall, and it's like, do your job properly. That's pretty much the end of that. And then Mike is going back for his third night on the job, and it's like, oh, of course I gotta go back for my third night. We're 3 nights in. We're 3 nights in of the film. 3 nights at Freddy's. He tries to call Max because Max is like the babysitter, but we know that Max just got fucking bite of 83'd. Goddamn. It's such a cool scene. From like a fan perspective, it's horrific for anyone else that's like, oh my god, PG film, Jesus. Yeah, so Mike can't get into contact with Max because she's dead. So he's like, okay, Abby, you're gonna come with me. You're gonna sleep in the security office. So he makes her like a little tent, and that's sort of like the thing that she loves doing, is making tents. She likes camping and all that, because the vandalizers literally destroyed a lot of stuff throughout the pizzeria. Mike does like this cleaning montage. I was expecting a song insert of just anything, but there was no song insert. It was just the OST sort of like not drones, but like nice like synth and atmospheric music while he's cleaning. He finds the blood splatter on the door, doesn't really think of anything of it. He's cleaned up everything. Like it's pretty much spotless. It's back to normal. It's like, God damn, Mike, you're like, why don't you take a job as a cleaner? You can clean an entire trashed pizzeria in less than like 6 hours, or in less than like 8 hours. I can't remember what time he actually starts his shift. So Abby's asleep. Mike doesn't take his sleeping pills this time because obviously they're chucked in the river because he wants to do his job. He still falls asleep. Puts on his nature headphones and falls asleep on the job again. Talks to the ghost kids again, but this time they're actually talking back, and he's like, I just want to know who took my brother. Can you tell me? And they respond with, well, Freddy, or Golden Freddy, responds with, what do we get in return if we tell you? And he's like, anything you want. It's like, alright. Then he fades away, and it's the stick carving on the ground of the rabbit, Golden Bonnie, Springtrap, William Afton. During that, Abby is like lured by the ghost kids to go to the animatronics. Mike hears screaming, Abby screaming, and is like immediately like shoots up awake, goes to find Abby, and she's getting tickled by the animatronics. Mike's like freaking out, like he's got the best face. He's like, what, like, you're alive? Like, is this a joke? Is like he picks up a chair, and Freddy wants all the fucking smoke, walks up to him, looks him in the eyes, cocks like an eyebrow, honestly. Mike's like, oh, okay, this is and then Abby's like, these are my friends. It's like, oh, these are your friends. These are the okay, cool. And he's like, oh, am I getting punked? Where the camera is and stuff. Like, this is all funny. I think Vanessa turns up and like talks to Mike about it, and Mike's like, oh, so you knew about this? You knew about that they're actually ghost kids in these animatronics? And she's like, yeah. Why didn't you tell me? What if Abby could have gotten hurt? And she's like, well, why the fuck did you bring Abby here? It's like, my guy, why would you bring a child here? It's like, well, I didn't know there were ghost animatronics. Plus, I couldn't get a hold of a babysitter. So she talks about how these are the ghost kids. And now like I've been looking after them. The animatronics, like Vanessa, they think she is like she's welcomed here. They like Abby. They're not fond of Mike very much. Yeah, so Vanessa like comes clean about the whole situation, and then Abby and Mike say goodbye to the animatronics for the third night, and all sort of goes off like cleanly. It's like, okay, so these are the animatronics, they're cool and everything. Let's get back to just our jobs, basically, and like to take care of Abby and stuff like that. And then he goes home. You see the drawings, and the drawings have all the ghost kids in them. This is the one part of the film that's like a... like, it's like, we're throwing it out there. So, she's been drawing these kids this entire time, whether or not it was before Mike got the job or after is not clear. It's all the missing kids drawn together with her, like happy and smiling and everything. And Mike goes, okay, these are the kids. Can you talk to them? Can you ask them about Garrett? I know we don't talk about Garrett very much, but you know that you had a brother and he went missing. I think your friends know where he is. Abby obviously agrees, and because Nightfall sort of happens and like they're all happy and everything, it's like, okay, we're gonna go talk to the animatronics. And then there's this goofy ass, oh, the animatronics want to play, let's build a giant fort. So you see the animatronics try to make this giant pillow fort / tent, and Vanessa and Mike are all helping them. And it's great because you see like the animatronics like get sort of like really playful and like childlike because they're lifting up like a heavy table, and then I'm pretty sure it's Bonnie, acts like he's exhausted, so he falls on his back and is like, oh, and he's like, oh, you okay? And he like does a thumbs up, and it's like, what the fuck is going on? This is an entire tonal shift, but like, of course, that's Five Nights at Freddy's for you. It's just a fun sequence, and like, this is what I mean by the movie is fun. There's sequences like that, and it's like, oh, well, they are, of course, they're kids, so they'll still have like childlike minds and tendencies and stuff. So that's why they want to play with Abby, because it's another child. So after the fort thing, Mike and Vanessa go into the storage closet because Vanessa wants to find tablecloths. She knows where they are. She knows where all the lights are. She knows where everything is kept. Like, so she definitely knows the place. Like, she worked there. She was just like a big fan there, or like she's a family member of someone who worked there, or something like that. Like, you get clued on, like, you know way more than you're letting on. Like, you know everything. It's like you read the script and now you're like keeping the script from everyone. Because she knows like beat for beat what's gonna happen. So Mike is like staring at a springlock suit. He's about to touch it, and it's like this whole thing was like, Vanessa's like, no, it's a springlock suit. People could wear them, but they were also for the animatronics, and because they're so old, they might clamp shut. Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge. Hey, FNAF fan, wake up! You see that? That's a big being. That's a big brain. And then you look at the springlock, and it's straight up Circus Baby. Like, it's not one-for-one Circus Baby, because obviously you can't have like the crazy like opening faces and everything. But it is like a little girl, rosy cheeks, like red hair. I'm pretty sure. The springlocks are actually interesting. Well, I've never actually seen in stuff of like the springlock suit, so it was interesting to see. But it's like a bear trap almost. There's like 4 to 6 like metal prongs, and Vanessa taps it, and it sort of like clicks, and then it goes like, it makes sense. It's a springlock suit, but like I didn't expect it to straight up just be a bear trap basically. So I would be jealous of this 6-pronged bear trap that as soon as you touch it, it goes and so that happens, and then they go out back to the animatronics, and Abby's about to play Bonnie's guitar. And we know at the start, well, near the start of the film, when Vanessa first pressed the showtime, is that Bonnie's guitar exploded. Vanessa like runs up, like tries to, like, it's like a sort of slow motion sequence of Vanessa trying to run up to stop Abby from strumming the guitar, but she does, and she gets blown back. It's like, holy shit, what the fuck? Like, I did not see that happening. Why? Okay, cool. So Abby's just like, oh, what the fuck? Basically like a cartoonish fucking Home Alone sequence where it's like you got the black sooted face and like the hair sticking up. It felt like that, honestly. When she strums the guitar, she just goes so Abby gets blown back, and then Vanessa and Mike are just talking about like the dangers of this place, and you should not bring Abby back here. Vanessa basically like, who do you care about more, like the past or looking after Abby? Mike's like, okay, yeah, cool. Well, I'm gonna do my own thing. It cuts to back at home. Abby and Mike are sort of establishing this better relationship. And the morning scene is that Mike actually called up his auntie to look after Abby while he goes and does his shift. But it's not even his shift, so it's actually in the daytime. Abby thinks, oh, you're giving me away. Like, I hate you. I hate you. Goes to his drawings and starts like marking his face in black crayon, trying to erase him and everything. The aunt is kind of randomly like chill about the whole thing. Like, she was this big comically evil villain thinking about killing Mike or just like trying to ruin his job, and she's just sort of there now. It was a bit weird. So Mike then goes buys sleeping pills. He meets the chemist at the counter of the place where he gets his sleeping pills, and the guy's like, you know what I'd do instead of taking sleeping pills? I like to go to sleep with a warm cup of milk and some like honey and stuff like that. And fucking Mike just grabs it out of his hand. He's like, man, what an asshole. That's the chemist. As Mike is walking out, the chemist goes, man, what an asshole. It's just, I don't know. I just got a kick out of that. I was like, Nice. So Mike, in this desperate sort of state, goes to Freddy's in the day, chucks on his headphones, takes some sleeping pills, immediately tries to get ready to go to sleep, goes into his dream sequence, and it's nothing like before. The dream is now his parents and his little brother all at the picnic table at the camp. They're talking to Mike directly, and it's not young Mike, it's adult Mike, and they're like, you can just join us. Like, it doesn't have to be this way. You don't have to think about anything else. And you see all the ghost kids there. Golden Freddy kid basically says to Mike, do you want this dream to happen like forever? The kid basically says, you don't have to look for him anymore. He's right there. He's right in this dream. We can grant you this dream every night if you give us what we want. The parents like, yeah, just come and join us. It's like this weird, it's like, so wait, ghost kids have powers of granting dreams to people? Okay, we add that to the death battle power scale. He's like, all we want is Abby. Give us Abby. And Mike's like, I don't know. And then his dream parents and dream Garrett are like, you don't need to look after her anymore. Give them away. Like, it shouldn't be your burden. You don't have to do this anymore. And he's like, okay, yeah. You just see the kid just do a big smile, like, excellent. And then Mike brushes the hair of Garrett aside, just like he does Abby, so he has an immediate flash to Abby waking up. And then he goes, no, I take it back. You can't have Abby. Starts screaming, you hear me? You can't have Abby. He's screaming into the void, and then you see all the kids start running around him and start slashing at him from his leg to his arm, and he starts running away. And then I think Foxy clips him in the ankle with his hook. These are all just little kids running around, and they're lashing out at him, and he's getting all these cuts on him. During this whole thing, it cuts to Abby at her home, and the auntie's there, and the auntie's flicking through the channels. I'm pretty sure this is just a wink wink nudge nudge to FNAF AR. There's the corner of the hallway of the living room, and the auntie's sitting on a rocking chair next to it. You see the camera pan sort of outwards towards the auntie, and you can see Golden Freddy standing behind her down the hallway. I think she's died. I think she's dead. I think we see her get murked off screen because the ghost kid, brown shirt, blonde hair, calls Abby, says, okay, it's time to go. Do you want to come play with us? And it's like, yeah, hell yeah. She sees the auntie collapsed on the ground, and no one likes the auntie, so she's not immediately suspicious, but she's like, oh, the Golden Freddy kid is like, oh, she's just asleep, with the biggest smile on his face. She's just asleep. And it's it's a murder scene. There's no blood. I was expecting a little bit of blood, and then Abby would have been just like, I don't care about auntie anyway. And then it cuts to the Corey Kenshin scene in the taxi. That pretty much plays out how it is in the trailers, no real difference. During that whole sequence of events, Mike had the dream sequence, wakes up, and he's in the torture chair. Mike is actually trapped in the same chair that the night guard at the start of the film died in. He finds the screw that the night guard was twisting but couldn't get out. This time Mike was able to do it. Basically gets out of the chair, jumps out of the way, scrolls up away from it, freaked the fuck out. And I forgot to mention this. There's an animatronic suit, right? There's an actual animatronic suit of Sparky. Yes, Sparky. The urban legend from FNAF 1 got a full animatronic suit, but it's broken apart in William's torture lair. As soon as I saw the bone collar, I was like, no fucking way. Holy shit. What a fucking massive Easter egg. It turns out that that's where Max and all the other vandalizers have been stuffed. They are in the Sparky suit, and they are in other suits, just like the games, actually stuffed into the suits. And Mike's like, man, what the fuck? I'm getting out of here. So he tries to leave, and he's greeted by Foxy, tries to escape through the same way the night guard at the start did, so it's pretty much like a play-by-play, but like Mike is doing things differently slightly. And then it cuts to white, and then we cut back to Abby. I think that's when the whole picking up sequence happens with Golden Freddy and Abby. But takes her back to the pizzeria, walks her over to the animatronics, and the animatronics are just a bit off. Like they start playing the song, and then Chica walks Abby over to the torture chamber. Now, while that is happening, we actually go back to Mike. And Vanessa has found Mike at some stage, just like bleeding all over the floor outside the pizzeria. Picks him up and like bandages him all up and everything. Mike's like, all right, you need to come clean with me because the animatronics killed those people and you knew about it. Not only did you know about it, you knew about the ghost kids, you knew about this, you know where everything is in the pizzeria. Who are you? What do you know? And then we finally get the big reveal that Vanessa's connection to William Afton, unlike the games, is that William Afton in the movie is Vanessa's father. And you get it's a cool picture. It's the golden bunny right next to her, and she's holding Garrett's plane. So Garrett had a toy plane during like the kidnapping sequences and the dream sequences. She's holding that plane. Like, holy fuck. And apparently she had figured out that her father had done all these murders and everything. But because it's William Afton and William is just an abusive, psychopathic murderer, William's got this power over her, so she doesn't want to oppose Daddy Dearest. And Mike's like, fuck this, I need to save Abby. So she... it's cool. There's like a suit-up sort of sequence. Mike gets a shock prod and I think 2 taser guns, or just 1 taser gun. And she says, well, that'll take care of the animatronic parts of the suits. So that'll freeze them up, like take them out of commission for a little while you go save Abby. Mike starts to get outside the pizzeria, starts crawling in through the vents. I was really expecting Cupcake to appear during that sequence, but no, I think we're nearing the end of the film, so we got to wrap this up. This is the 5th night. This is the Five Nights at Freddy's. We're at the 5th night and everything's going down. Abby's gonna get chucked into the torture chair. Mike is trying to save her, crawling through the vents. Vanessa is like, nah, we ain't doing that shit. Like, I ain't opposing Daddy Dearest. He's too powerful, basically. Mike, it's a cool sequence. It's like very Metal, honestly, very Metal Gear Solid, because Freddy's doing like his robotic dance, so he's like twisting his head like on the left side, and Mike's slowly crawling on the right side. And then it's the scene where he just goes turns towards Mike and then looks down, and then it's like Mike's like hiding behind the corner of the stage and is just like not moving whatsoever. And then Freddy's like sort of squinting, trying to see if he's there. Goes back, turns around, starts performing again. And Mike, when he cleaned the pizzeria on the 3rd night, Mike cleaned the pizzeria. He left out the water buckets that he used to like mop the place, and they pours that onto the stage. He shoots the water covered stage with his taser, and that takes out Bonnie and Freddy. You can see that Chica is taking Abby into the torture chamber, and Mike starts to book it. So he's tasered Freddy and Bonnie through shocking the water on the stage, and then he just straight up shoots Chica in the eye, tasering the animatronic there. He saves Abby from the torture chair. Then they sort of have just their big moment of, I do care for you. And then Abby's like, we should probably get out of here. He's like, yeah, good point. Mike has been bandaged up, right? But he's still got like lacerations and cuts everywhere, so he's limping. Like this entire time, he's crawling through the vents, like limping, shooting the animatronics with tasers while limping. And they try to get out. Too bad for them. Fucking Cupcake is also awake and starts gnawing on Mike's leg. He's lost the shock prod. He's like struggling to grab it. Grabs the shock prod, eventually gets Cupcake. And while that's happening, Abby's run away and Foxy's on the loose. And then we get to the scene where it's the arcade. Foxy's looking for Abby. She goes into the ball pit. you think, oh, okay, Foxy's actually gonna get Abby, and then Vanessa comes out of nowhere and actually saves Abby from Foxy. Pretty sure she tases him, then pulls Abby out, and then we go back to the big stage area of the pizzeria. That's when, out of nowhere, you see Golden Bonnie, aka William Afton, sort of encroach, just like the trailer. He actually does talk in the suit. I was happy about that. I was really happy about that. He's like antagonizing Mike. He's like, you can't defeat me, stuff like that. I can't remember like what exactly he said. William can throw hands. Mike tries to like go up and punch him, or like, no, he does. He shoots him with a taser and it hits the Springlock suit, and nothing happens because it's a suit. Or the fact that William can just tank a taser and starts walking towards him, but he either punches Mike or he kicks Mike and starts taunting him, basically like, man, you ain't worth shit. Like, he throws him to the ground and everything. Like, God, you are nothing. Like, you want to get revenge on your brother? You're this pathetic? God. Mike is just getting the shit kicked out of him by William Afton in the suit. He takes the head of Springtrap, Golden Bonnie, off, puts it on the ground. I can't remember. I think it's just an intimidation thing. The animatronics have this clearer image of him, so that's why they can fear him. Something like that. Because in this film, he has a power over them. And it's that there's a drawing that you see in the trailer of him in the golden suit, and he's holding the hands of the kids. Now, back to when I was talking about how the teacher said drawings are very powerful. Drawing images are very powerful. That is how he's controlling the animatronics. Through this drawing of showing that they are friends by holding each other's hands. And that's why they are following his orders. Through fear and also no memory of what he actually did. So they don't know that William actually killed them. So Vanessa stands up to Daddy Dearest. He's living this power. He's like, you're not gonna shoot me. You're pathetic. You're a disappointment. And he's talking to Vanessa, and he's like, God, you're worthless. You could never stand up to me. I made you. I owned you. Like, stuff like that. You would never shoot like your dad. And then she just straight up, and it hits him in the suit. Whether it goes through, I'm not sure. But that really pisses William off, so he starts choking. I think Mike and Abby come up with the idea. But what Abby does once she realizes that drawings are like very powerful, and that's how he's controlling them, is that she draws the image of William in his suit with a knife, and the kids are dead next to him, and there's like a blood. There's like all the dead kids, William in the center. She rips the golden bunny drawing off the wall and sticks that on. While this is happening, William's starting to panic, so he stabs Vanessa in the stomach, and that's where we leave that. Because while this is happening, Abby stuck it on the wall. The sort of crazy sequence is happening. All the lights are flashing. The animatronics starting to like remember, like the images and like memories are starting to flash back into their heads. And so this is actually when the eyes glow red, is because that now that they're remembering, all they're seeing is like murder. We need to murder William. He's having none of it. He's like, I still killed you. Like, I have power over all of you. You are nothing to me. And then fucking Cupcake just goes and bites on the suit, and he rips it off. And that starts the Springlock sequence. Not only did we get the Bite of 83 reference in this movie, we got a full, uncut Springlock sequence of William being clamped. And it's actually not even like the quick, like the games. You see each lock go into him, into his chest, and that's when the blood just does not stop. Like, you see the blood slowly like encapsulate the side of his chest as he sort of starts getting clenched up because of all the spring locks entering his body. But no deadly screams. He sort of takes it into himself, weirdly enough. And that honestly works. Like, I do love the Michael, and the just like the deadly screams of the agony that is being spring locked. In this, William takes it in stride almost, like everything's like happening. He's like, okay, this is what's happening. While he's getting spring locked and got all these pins like going through his skin and everything, he picks up the head, and he says that his iconic catchphrase. He goes, "I always come back." Puts it on, and then sort of just starts to crumple to the ground, just like normal. The animatronics surround him during this whole sequence. Mike, Abby, and Vanessa sort of get the fuck out of Dodge, because now the pizzeria is collapsing for some reason. Just maybe all the swirling ghost anger and malicious intent towards that. And I love it because Foxy then uses his hook, clips into the golden bunny suit, and drags William away. And he drags him back into like the back room where like he'll stay. William doesn't lose power. He loses. He dies. But it's almost, again, part of his plan. And that's where a lot of sequel bait's coming from, because of course it's William. He always comes back. And that's pretty much the climax of the film. The ghost kids don't really say anything. It's just the animatronics with their eyes glowing red, really staring angrily at Afton. The spring lock sequence happens, really cool. And then he gets dragged away. And that's where we see them. We see parts of the roof and like building collapse, but like not fully. So you can still go visit there if you want. Because, I mean, they're chilling there. Like, they haven't been freed. The ghost kids aren't free. They're there to torture William for however long they want. Then it just cuts to Mike and Abby sort of just deciding what to eat, like for dinner. Either pizza or spaghetti. They choose spaghetti because they go and visit Vanessa, and they could all return. I think they sweep under the rug that the aunt died in the house because no one questions it. It's never brought up again. When they go home, there's no mention of a like dead body or if she collapsed or anything. She's not in the hospital or anything. I think she's just dead. Then Mike saw it, went, so that's an animatronic's fault, and moved it along. A lot of things get swept under the rug in this film because they're like, let's we got a time to keep. We got to wrap this film up. That's pretty much where it ends, except for the sort of post-credit scene of Corey Kenshin again in the taxi. And he's like taking a break, like, I'm not driving you anywhere. And then we get another fucking jump scare of Balloon Boy. And I was like, God damn it. You did, like, in total, there was like 3 jump scares of just this one Balloon Boy toy. And I'm like, God, fuck you, Balloon Boy. God damn it. Oh, there's the scene of William like, writhing in the back of the pizzeria, like shaking and everything. He's still conscious. Like, he can like use his like hand and fist and everything. So whether or not that's his like body becoming remnant or anything. And it's just golden Freddy, blonde hair kid with brown shirt, just staring at him. And then he shuts the door, and then that's it for the movie pretty much. The credits roll. Cool credit sequence. The Five Nights at Freddy's song by The Living Tombstone starts playing. And I got the biggest smile on my face. I'm like, man, this was awesome. This was sick. I enjoyed my time. So cool. Love this. Oh, man, so good. This part of the review talkback thing is sort of like things that either I felt like should be talked about, or like ideas that will maybe implemented in the second film, stuff like that. One of the big things is the torture device with the Freddy Fazbear head with the spinning blades. That's not explained, like, at all. Like, it's a device to kill, obviously. Is it a remnant extractor? We don't know. There's no mention of remnant. We don't see William working on these animatronics at all. Just nothing with the torture device. Like, you see this device coming at you and you're like, oh, that's cool. Like, is this for FNAF fans to then go, is that a remnant extractor? Like, what is it? And then in the movie, you just don't find out. So I think that's stuff they're gonna leave for the novel, I think, but I'm honestly not too sure. Then there's stuff just like vandalizers dying, the night guards dying, the auntie dying. They're dead. They're all dead. And their bodies are just getting swept under the rug. We don't need to worry about that. No police officer's gonna investigate that because Vanessa was on the job. We can trust Vanessa. My main gripe with the film was it just felt a little rushed towards the end. I really would have loved more William Afton. When he was on screen, I was ecstatic. I loved Matthew's performance. He was in control. He was giddy. He enjoyed what he did. He enjoyed that he murdered these kids. He enjoyed that he still continued to murder multiple people. He enjoyed that he controlled these kids. He was powerful. Like when Vanessa tried to talk back to him, he immediately showed his authority and superiority over her just through verbal actions until he needed to get more violent after she shot him. In the entire part he's on screen, you're immediately seeing that is a murderer, that is a threat, that is someone we do not know what he's capable of. And that's why Mike, even though he's like got cuts and everything over him, he's getting his ass kicked by William. Like Mike doesn't have a fight scene with him. He just sort of gets his ass kicked, and that like Mike's sort of knocked out while Vanessa takes charge, shoots him, and then Abby's the one to save the day by doing the drawing. I liked the whole concept of the drawings being a power. It's an interesting concept, and it was hinted at towards the start of the film, and I feel that they executed that like sort of key to winning early on, and then we see it come back right at the end. And I don't know, it was cool. Animatronics could have had a bit more screen time, whether they hunted down Mike for a bit longer or something like that. I don't know. I feel like we could have gotten just a bit more of the animatronics, but that might happen in the sequel, whether they're the withered ones now, because they've been trapped under the rubble of the Pizzaplex with William. I keep saying Pizzaplex, pizzeria. Abby says that she wants to like visit them, obviously, because they are still friends, because now they're actually free of William's control. So they might be good, we don't know. I think they are. I really enjoyed this film. I had a lot of fun. I can't wait to watch it with my friends, see what they think. My voice is definitely starting to die now. I've been talking almost 2 hours straight. So guys, if you watch the film, or if you're going to watch the film, please let me know what you're excited for. Let me know what your favorite part of the film was. Mine was definitely as soon as Golden Bunny showed up. I just loved it. Oh, man. I wanted more of that. I wanted more William Afton presence. as bad as that sounds. I want more of the child murder on the screen. Get me pictures of William Afton. Get him in the bunny suit. Get him in the gold bunny suit. Get him in the Springtrap suit. Get him killing kids. Yeah, guys, so just let me know your overall thoughts on the film, what your favorite part was, and yeah. Let me know if you want more movie sort of like weird story walkthrough of what happened for other movies in the future. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Leave a like and subscribe if you'd like. To this time for the cringy outro. Alright guys, as always, keep the peace clear and have a good day. See ya!